Hello, gentlemen. Today I'm going to break down part 3 of the Green Bay Packers offensive scheme. This is by far the most requested thing I've gotten on the channel in the past month or so, and it's finally here. So we're going to break down gun bunch wide today. If you haven't seen part 1 and part 2, I did wide trips weak as well as tight Y off. I'm doing a bunch of 11 personnel formations out of this playbook that aren't meta because I feel like a lot of people know the bunch tight end setups, bunch strong nasty, all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of breaking down the more off meta stuff to really flesh out this playbook for you guys. And then remember, if you guys want me to continue with the Packers playbook, just drop a like because that'll let me know that you guys are interested in me staying in the Packers playbook and you want me to break down more formations out of it. Okay, now let's get into it. So we're going to talk about the one run play that we have, which is inside zone. And then we also have kind of a gimmick play with cheat halfback slip screen. I'll talk about them very, very briefly because they're really not that important. Inside zone is okay. It's nice to have this split out bunch. That is going to make the blocking better in some cases, and it's going to make it worse in others because if they come out in some kind of look like a 6-1 or something, you're just never going to run inside zone. Never, because you won't gain any yardage. But if they're in like standard align, that's when you'll get good blocking like this. So that's inside zone. And then for the cheat halfback screen, we're going to be using cheat flood and cheat slot cross. So this does actually kind of go well with them, but it's still a halfback screen. It's not something you're going to call too often. Just make sure you wait it out, just like any other halfback screen. So just wanted to show you those two plays very briefly. Now let's move into the passing plays. The first passing play I'm going to break down is going to be cheat flood, and really anything with the cheat motion I'm a big fan of. I think it's one of the best additions to this year's game, so if you have them in your playbook, make sure to use them. So we're going to run all of these setups with bunch to the wide side. So ball's on the left hash, make sure your bunch is on the right, and then vice versa. This first setup, we're going to put B on a post, which is your outside bunch receiver, and then put X, which is your ISO receiver, on a comeback. So the concept here, we're just putting a lot of conflict on the user with the angle and the post. So let's have a look. I had the angle, but I got greedy and waited for this post route. This will usually be thrown right in front of the middle third. This might be a man coverage. I would say be very careful against man coverage, especially cover 0 running this setup, because really your only hot route or your hot read is going to be the angle route from the running back. And usually in a cover 0, the user defender is responsible for the running back. So this setup really isn't good against cover 0. Just be very careful. And they've been calling a lot of that. There's the post. So there is a cover 0. If you have time, you can hit the comeback. Man coverage again. There's the comeback. So really against man coverage, you have the comeback, the angle, and the post. The flat from RB and the cheat motion are not reads against man coverage. So keep calling man coverage. There's the post. Now, let me briefly show you against Tampa 2, because that's one coverage they haven't given us yet. If they use cover 2, sometimes you will have the cheat motion right above it. But let's have a quick look at that, because he might not get far enough to the sideline. So you have to wait on him. So let's do it again. Do need quite a bit of time in the pocket, but I think you can pass it to the outside, kind of late like this. If they don't have an outside third, they just have a deep half. That's going to be a good throw for you. You can maybe run a variation of it with like slot receiver on the post. Maybe speed out this guy. And this might be even better against cover 2. Let's have a look. Yeah, so kind of like that. So there's your cover 2 hole shot. For cheat flood number 2, I'll show you two different versions. One where we block the running back and then one where we send him out on a route. So let's start with that one where we send everybody out. Speed out your outside bunch receiver, which is B. Streak the point receiver, which is RB. Corner route your tight end. I would say you can optionally stem him down once. I think that'll work out really nicely, actually. And we'll run it like this. So let's have a look. The speed out is what you want to hit most of the time. If it's open, throw it every single time. You'll get like anywhere from 5 to 15 yards. Kind of just depends, but whenever I have a speed out, he's typically my first read. So this is the great thing about this route combo. Let's go to instant replay because you do need to get comfortable with clicking on and making these catches yourself. But whenever you have a streak, an out, and a corner, I could have thrown the streak. This is actually wide open for a touchdown. I just wasn't looking at him. If the safety's rotating from the other side of the field, you are going to have that. So speed out open, corner routes open for a click on, and then we have this guy. So against cover 3, depending on where their safety's coming from, very good route combo. Before I break down the second play, I do want to remind you guys, if you want to get better at Madden 25 or College Football 25, you should go to acemadden.com and become a member. After you sign up, you'll gain access to every single scheme we have on both games, and they're far more detailed than anything I put out on YouTube. It'll just make your life so much easier. You'll also gain access to all of our tips and the pass protection guide, which is extremely helpful mid-game because we know how to block every single meta blitz in both games, and that is constantly updated. I actually just updated it with how to block the new 3-3 odd blitz on Madden 25, and that's one that you're going to need to know how to block very, very soon. So make sure to go sign up on acemadden.com. Let's continue with the video. The next play is going to be cheat slot cross, and this one's a very easy play to run. All you have to do is drag the outside bunch receiver, post the point receiver, and that's it. So the way you want to read this, start with a drag, then the post, then the cheat motion dig. If it's man coverage, you're also going to have the comeback on the ISO side, so like right here. Especially versus off coverage, like off man coverage, very easy. But against zone, it's really all about these 3 guys over on the other side of the field. Drag, post, motion dig. This play runs very similar to Dagger from Gun Bunch Strong. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. That was a little bit close. Make sure you throw that maybe a little bit sooner. You can just throw that drag as soon as you see it. Get your 5 to 10 yards. It's like right here, this might be man coverage. Let's have a look. Yep, so man coverage. Step up in the pocket, hit your comeback. I'll run it one more time. Very simple play, so I don't need to run it a million times. There's your post. For cheat slot cross number 2, this is going to involve stemming a cheat motion, which is a known bug in game right now. So if you try to use this in a game, it might not work. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. It depends on what side of the field and a couple other things. But what we're going to do is stem the tight end all the way down so he looks like this. And I'll show you what to do if it's not stemming. Streak the slot receiver. Corner route B, which is the outside bunch receiver, I would stem him down once. And then post your ISO. So this is what your final play art should look like. And I love having this stem down cheat motion. He's going to do a much better job separating. We also have the C route that just torched Jalen Ramsey. Run this a few times. And I'll actually say maybe not stem all the way down. So this is actually running a little bit too shallow. So what I would do is this. I would stem him down to about here. So he runs about a 5-yard in. We do want a little bit more depth on this. There's your C route. So this is going to be down twice with the D-pad to get this depth. Let's do it again. There's the C route just cooking constantly. In some cases, you'll have the backside post. You can have this guy too. They love to play man coverage, these Dolphins. Last time. There's the cheat motion in. Oh, and let's say your tight end isn't stemming. He's stuck on this stock cheat motion. You're just going to drag him. So we get the same route concepts. Sadly, we're not going to have the actual cheat motion, which is nice to have, but you get basically the same thing by dragging your tight end. So just like this. Basically runs the same way. Next, we have dig return, and it does have a stock zig route, which is one of the things you want to look for in Madden 25 when you're creating a scheme, because they're just good against man coverage. And this one just so happens to be good against zone 2. So what we're going to do for this is post RB, which is your point receiver. You're going to flat your running back. And then you can do a few different things with your ISO receiver. You could put them on a C route. You could put them on a comeback. You could put them on a fade. Kind of just depends on what you're looking for. So the fade will clear out a deep zone completely, so you'll have the post open late. The comeback's going to give you an extra option against man coverage. So it really just kind of depends what you're looking for. But the route you're going to hit most often is going to be this return. Well, not the return, the whip route. Because what happens is the flat is going to pull things to the sideline, and then he's going to sit right here in this void and then break out. So this is a route combo a bunch of players have loved for years. Very good down in the red zone as well. Look right here against man coverage. There's the whip. And then the rest of the play is just good against zone, really. So right here, this is... like, if you know it's man coverage, like, you know for sure it's man coverage. You do not need the flat route from your tight end. You can maybe put him on a drag or something. Maybe use a curl instead of a comeback. Give you a quicker read here. Throw him on his break. Just giving you guys some ideas. But if you don't know if it's zone or man, keep the flat, because it's very important that we create that void for the whip route. But a cover zero, you know, cover zero is probably not the best to run this against. You could block your running back and make it a little bit easier. And I'll show you can hit the post too. Just not this rep. Those zone drop pretty far back. So it's man coverage again, but you guys see the point. This likely won't get usered, so you're going to be throwing to this guy most of the time. Next up, we have branch return, and I'm going to show you a couple different setups, but I'm not really going to break down the first one. I'm just going to show it to you. So the first method, or the first setup, is going to be a meta setup. This is the way a lot of people run it. So they'll streak the ISO, or I guess a fade technically, block the running back. The tight end is on an option drag, and we don't want that, so we're going to re-drag the tight end. And then we're going to post the slot receiver. So this is the meta setup, and it just works nicely. You know, you get really good spacing between this drag, return route, and post. It's good versus man. It's good versus zone. Did not mean to send the running back out on a route, but he actually became a blocker for me. But definitely good to block that running back. So that's going to be the meta setup. Now let me show you how I would set this up. So for those of you who watch all of my videos, you know I'm obsessed with dagger concepts in Madden 25 and College Football 25. And that's because deep ins are good versus man coverage, and users like just never see them coming. So what we're going to do is streak the ISO receiver, not the ISO receiver, the point receiver, which is RB, block your running back, re-drag the tight end, and then we're going to stem up this backside dig with the D-pad once, and then with the left stick once. So this is what the play art should look like. And the goal is to hit this backside dig. This is going to separate versus man most of the time, and the user's just not going to see it coming. The only reason they would ever see it coming is if you're spamming it. Then they'll run back there with their user and cover it. Otherwise, it's going to be wide open for a huge gain. Oop, did not mean to stem him that far. And the user is going to be so distracted with the drag and the return route anyways. that, he's not really going to see it. Let's do it again. So man coverage. Wide open. Let's do it one more time. There's return route. And then lastly, we have the classic, which is verticals. And I'll show you a couple different ways you can run this. One of them is going to be good versus like a stock zone, and then the other one will be good against match. So this first one's going to be good against just like standard cover 3 and stuff. So drag your ISO receiver, block your running back, and that's it. You're just going to read it as a high-low between the drag and the deep cross, kind of like this. User will typically run with the deep cross. That's what they're conditioned to do. But you will have this window here, believe it or not. Even though you don't have something clearing out this outside third, there is a timing window for that deep cross against cover 3. It's like right here, that guy, I don't know what that guy was in. I got to go to instant replay and see what he just did. It's maybe a match, some kind of match zone. The way he matched to that deep cross is kind of crazy. And the drag ran just a little bit too deep. He got like behind these zones on accident. So that's all that happened. As you can see, there's a little window here against cover 3. Now let's say that they run like some kind of match. Well, match is going to bag verticals pretty badly. So I'll show you the same setup. You might have this throw, like it's kind of risky throwing that, to be honest with you. But nothing else is really open. Like they did a good job with match against a bunch. So here's what I like to do if they're using match against our bunch wide. Drag the tight end, block the running back, and then curl your outside bunch receiver. And this curl is pretty much always going to be open. And the user is likely not running with the curl. He's probably running with the drag or the deep cross. You know, if you're spamming this, then maybe not. And this is actually different than it is out of regular bunch. So it looks like the bunch side safety is matching to the deep cross pretty well, which might be a problem. Try throwing the deep cross. No, you can still throw him. That's fine. So we have these two routes against cover 4 quarters. The curl and the deep cross. Oop, forgot to put the drag on the field. Drag the tight end, block the running back, curl the outside bunch receiver. A little bit close. That is Poyer. He's defending that well. But again, just kind of imagine that's the user. Let's say the user's taking away the deep cross. Then you are likely going to have your curl wide open. Anyways, that's going to be it for part 3. Hopefully you guys enjoy this scheme. I had a lot of fun making it. If you want me to continue on and make a part 4, just make sure to drop a like. That lets me know that you guys are interested in me continuing to build out of this Packers playbook. So thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. And then if you want additional help, you want more detailed schemes, go to acemadden.com and become a member. You'll gain access to everything we have on both College Football 25 and Madden 25. And I guarantee you'll start winning more games. So thanks for watching. See you guys later.